Well, thank you very much. I very much appreciate you having taken the time to talk to us today.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you. André, give us a little idea of how you first came to Panama, why you made a decision to stay here.
Well, it's a process. I came here first in 1989, in December. I was a press secretary.
Press secretary.
Yeah, press secretary for an organization of the European Parliament. And I was with journalists, and we were following the elections that the military would try to steal later in the year. And I met, it was the first time I came to Central America. And one of the first person I met here was our guide. And 1 year later, I married her.
Good.
That's how we start my Panamanian family. And now we will celebrate 25 years of living together this December.
Well, congratulations. That's great. You have 2 children?
2 children. We have adopted 2 children here in Panama.
Oh, wonderful. I met them both, and they're sweet, sweet girls, both of them. One in college now?
Both girls, yes. One in college, Naida, she's 20, and the other, Karin, is 15.
Wonderful. Well, when you first got involved, what did you do? What did you work? How did you find a job in Panama? It must have been difficult in the beginning. When
I arrived here, I quickly found a job at the International School of Panama. They had still an American program, and they needed a French teacher. So I worked there 3 years as a French teacher, and then I switched teaching to a local university, Universidad Latina. But there I started mostly teaching English and translation classes. I'm still teaching translation there, but it's part-time. So I have performed other jobs. I've been teaching in high school and be a tour guide. That's how we met, you and me. I have shown Panama and properties to prospective, to Americans who were thinking to become resident here. And now for 3 years, I'm translation coordinator in an organization, in a financial organization.
Oh, good. That's excellent. Well, how did you come about to do all of this? I mean, how did you get a work visa?
Well, if you are married to a Panamanian, you are entitled to a work visa as married to a national. And same for a residence. I'm a Panamanian resident, married to a national. The work visa, we had to renew it every year and to prove that we were still living together. Every year we had to go to the work ministry, labor ministry, answering questions such as what's the color of your bedroom, to prove that we were really living together. But after 10 years, the work visa became permanent.
But you're not a citizen at this time, you're a permanent resident.
No, I have not taken the citizenship yet.
Well, tell me, you live in I remember sort of a middle-class Panamanian neighborhood with a lot of different people, but Panamanian professionals living in your area.
Yes.
It's different than so much of the rest of the city because it's not high-rise,
no.
Anything like that. They're just simple homes and people living.
Little suburban homes. We have 3 bedrooms, and the house, were very, very affordable, and they are still in Brisas del Golf and San Antonio. The houses are still around 100,000, which is much less than an apartment.
Yes, it is. Do you ever see any foreigners who live out there?
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. We had a neighbor who was working a lady who was working for the Smithsonian. And since my wife had a child care center, she had her kids at my wife's child care center.
Have you felt that the Panamanian community has welcomed you as a foreigner from the beginning? Did you have any problems with that?
Yes, absolutely. I was very happy of how I felt welcome in Panama. And that's a total contrast with Europe, where, foreign people coming in Europe are usually looked down upon by local Europeans, by native Europeans very often. Not always, but very often. Here in Panama, it's complete contrast. We feel that really we feel that we are useful and needed.
That's good. That's excellent. What, in dealing with Panamanian students, as you do in school, do you find young Panamanians here similar to Belgians, or are they really quite different?
There are some differences. Teenager or young university students, here you have, I would say, you have to take education in a more relaxed way than in European schools. And I don't complain about that. I prefer to work with projects than with exams, for example, and to help students to find their strong points than to look for the weak points.
Do the students here, are they excited? Do they think they have a future in Panama? Or do they have a positive outlook?
I think so. It's not easy. Well, I'm working with middle class students, usually those who can afford a university that they have to pay for, but it's not that expensive. They usually feel that they have futures, but it's often a kind of roller coaster.
Okay. Sometimes they do and sometimes they don't. Huh? Yes. Okay, I understand. Now, I'm going to go back to the community where you live. Those homes, can you give me an idea how large they are, the average house, and maybe how much electricity costs you and things like that? Okay,
electricity is kind of proportional to how many air conditioning you have, how much you use them. We only have one, so my electricity bill is between $60 and $70 per month.
How many square meters is your home?
Maybe 140, 150 square meters.
About 1,600 square feet, yes, okay, that's fine. And how about food? Where do you shop in the supermarkets, or do you get out into other areas?
Yes, we have we have now a new mall next to our area, and the Metro Mall, and we have some good supermarket. The supermarket for a week cost $120, $130. I would say the meat is probably much less expensive than in Europe or United States, and other items are as expensive or sometimes more expensive, like the toys, for example, may be more expensive here.
Do you find what you need, or do you find, because you're from Europe, you're from a different cultural background, do you find the things you need here? Or, and when I first came, there were only some things, and other things were missing from an American perspective. Now, from your perspective, but now we have everything, it seems. I mean, how do you feel about it? Did you feel you had a lot of difficulty finding the stuff that you remember from home?
Not really. I didn't miss. At first, we didn't have the good telephone communication, but it quickly improved. It was really the first years, or when you arrive here in a new country, you are expecting to have a time of adaptation, and you don't find everything immediately, and then you learn to find them, to learn where you can find them. In Panama, we can find almost everything. In terms of communication technology, we are more advanced in Panama than in my native area in Belgium. My sister and my brother still don't want to know anything about Facebook, for example.
Well, that's very popular here, so.
It's very popular here, yes.
Well, tell me, I know you have worked with a number of expatriates who come in. You've done some tour guide work yourself in the past. What do you think, what would you feel about them? Are they coming down with realistic ideas of Panama? how do you respond to these first-time people who are coming down?
Okay. Panama, I've seen people coming to Panama with, I would say, preconceived ideas. And Panama usually confirm their preconceived. If they have prejudice, if they have a negative view, negative things happen to them. Yeah. If they come and have a positive approach, usually it's okay, it's well. We have different, this cultural shock exists. In fact, I think really that people who come with an idea of learning the country and not trying to impose their view get well, find their position in Panama. They feel welcomed. Mm-hmm. But sometimes we still have Canadian or American or European who come here with a kind of mentality. All right, I will take possession of the land, and that's not working that way. Mm-hmm,
mm-hmm. Well, in many respects, I think that people ask, are Panamanians friendly to expatriates who visit? And I certainly think they are. I think you'd agree. But my biggest concern, are the expatriates friendly to the Panamanians? In other words, sometimes people get frightened, you know.
It's both ways. It's both ways, yes. The Panamanian, you have the traditional Panamanian, the old generation will often greet me with military, hello, my, as if I was, okay, as if we were still at the time of the Canal Zone, American Canal Zone, and I was an American officer. Sometimes.
In their eyes, yes. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Sometimes, and then they expect me to, because I have they often believe my appearance that I am American, and so they expect that I will take immediate decision.
Oh yes, like we're supposed to do that, aren't we?
Like we're supposed to do the thing right away.
Right away, yeah. Not always the case.
It's not always the case, of course.
Well, you have a lot in common with our cousins in Canada who constantly are being confused as Americans, and our apologies. Well, in general, though, from the Panamanian perspective, you've been here now 25 years. You've seen and lived with the people around you, your family growing up in it. Do you think that the attitudes toward the outside world to foreigners have changed a lot in 25 years? And if so, how have they changed?
I think in 25 years, the Panamanian have grown much more confident about themselves and their option. I see that I've seen that this country changed a lot and grow in optimism. And you know, in Europe, we had after the Second World War the 30 years that were called the 30 glorious years, and that ended in the 70s when the crisis started. And people felt confident at that time, in the 60s, when I was a child. And then Europe lost its confidence. And Panama, and I think not only Panama, but Latin America, they are in a period of stable growth, and stability, with some exception, of course. Mm-hmm. But we feel that we are in a country that has a positive view of its future. And that showed at the last election. You see, we had a democracy where more than 75% of the voters vote, mm-hmm. and they don't pay too much attention to the surveys.
They do what they feel like doing, exactly. It's democracy, no question.
Democracy, yes.
Well, now your daughter, for example, she's in college now. Do you feel that she has the opportunities for jobs that a young man would have in college, or is there a discrimination against women?
No, she doesn't. It's difficult at 20 to determine if discrimination is because you lack of confidence or if because you have a specific appearance. You know, that's a problem that all young people have, and everyone have to go through experience and rebound, and she likes digital animation, and she likes doing video, by the way, also. And she's practicing and she's learning, and she already did some announce or a website for small companies as a side job.
Good, but she doesn't feel as if she's discriminated against yet. I mean, she's too young, and in fact, she hasn't gone out in the work world. But how do you feel? You talk to these students. You know some after they've finished school.
I'm very proud of the way she reacts. You know, because she's an adopted child, and she doesn't look like me. And sometimes, when she was a child, she was able to say, to answer other children about that. And she's always been able to do it.
Excellent. Well, I know her, and I know she's going to be a success because she's a very intelligent young lady. Well, that's good. In the university system here, do they practice an education similar to that in Europe or to the U.S., or is it Latino? In other words, do you feel the culture has a big impact in the universities and in the jobs that you have held?
Yes, the culture, the relation. In fact, here we are in a country that needs developed human resources. So people who are qualified for a job don't have problem finding work. What is more difficult is finding jobs that are decently or well paid. That's where the competition is. But to find a job is easy. Everyone, they need work. They need workers. They need qualified workers in all fields here.
I was interested to notice the University of Panama that 70% of the bachelor's degrees go to women, and 74% of the graduate degrees are going to women. So when people come, they often say, are the women kept down and don't have opportunities? And I think the women here are really doing very well professionally.
I think so. I have a majority of women also studying at the university where I teach, especially in my area, language, translations, it's education. We have many more women than men.
What do you think about Panama over the next 5-10 years? I mean, is the direction a good one, a healthy one to you? Do you expect the economy to continue to grow?
I expect so, yes. Now we have these new locks that are going to be open next year, and that means a bigger business for the canal. We have a government that seems to be decided to tackle corruption, and that's also a big, if they make a better, if the judicial system becomes more reliable, more predictable, that's also a big plus for the country. So we are in a country with a strategic position, with a growing and young population growing. We have we have everything a country can ask for to grow.
Are you happy you came?
Oh, yes.
So you're, after 25 years, this is where you belong?
Yes, I belong here, yes.
I understand. That's very well put. Well, do you have any additional comments you'd like to make to expatriates who are sitting out there now in 25 different countries?
Okay. I don't think that I'm doing. I'm not speaking as to advertise Panama. It's just that I have a very positive life experience here, when in Panama, differences are appreciated. That's something wonderful about this country. If you don't have to belong to a specific mold to feel that you are appreciated. You have plenty of culture, and it's easy to find an area or a group where you can belong to. Yes.
And there is one somewhere.
There is one somewhere for everyone, yes.